Good day. My name is Gabriel Bosantonio. I am with my partner Ira Cobito, and today we are being having our podcast, which is titled "Games in Our Heart." And our podcast is about the games that we have played in our childhood. It could be video games, traditional games like tag, hide and seek, and such like that. Or it could be even board games or mobile app games as well. Whatever the definition of games is. In this podcast, we are gonna be talking about ourselves and our experiences with games, and we have a series of questions that we are going to answer so that you may know us a little bit better. And let me tell you about myself a little bit. I am a student of STI Novaliches of Bachelor of Multimedia Arts. And the reason why I took multimedia arts is because art is my passion, and I would like to use my art as a way of getting me to places I have never been, and even earn some money for my family and myself. And so, without further ado, me and my partner Iro are going to be answering the questions now. What game do you remember the most? For me, the game that I remember the most are the games that I used to play when I was just like a lower grade, like grade 1 nursery, things like that. I remember playing tag with my friends, hide and seek. Though usually we invented the games halfway because it was too boring or it was influenced by other games. One of them would be Ice Ice Water. I love that game so much that me and my friends loved that game so much that we played it multiple times before class, because we would arrive at school before class even begins, so that we would use that time or lose that time by playing games, whatever one chooses. It's like Ice Ice Water is like a tag game where if you get tagged by you have to freeze and remain freezing and remain frozen, but when you move, you would be the one it. But if a teammate unfreezes you, then you are free to run again and be tagged by the it. As for video games, the video game that I remember the most is Fallout 3. It was the first game that I played when I received my Xbox 360 back in the day. It's remained as one of my favorite video games because of the nostalgia. I had no idea what I was doing there, but I loved the gameplay so much, and also the artistic. Even though it was old, the graphics were perfect for me at the time. Ever since then, I've been a Fallout fan for forever.
Okay. For what the game that I do remember the most is one of those mobile games that like Angry Birds. Well, sometimes I could be a little nostalgic with one of my friends back then when they told me to play this game, and that's why back then I did the original. And it was for the PC games that I do recognize it the most. I do like play God of War or some other PC games in here like Y8. I wonder why, but I do remember the games with the most is a lot of things. There are many things like the ones for the restaurants, dress up games or something that's only for kids recently. But I do remember back then a lot of people who were sitting with a nostalgic and going back to the ones you gave for your childhood once a days. You know what? I do like to see them when they sit it back then and got it for the nostalgia. Good by the way, I like it a little bit.
What game or company that you would like to work on or with? The game that I would love to have worked on would be Life is Strange, where we follow a university student who discovered that she has time powers. She can rewind time whenever she sees fits. It is a story-based game, and I would love to have worked on that because it's a very good video game with very interesting characters along. As you play that game, you will meet along very interesting characters with their own problems that you can help them if you would like. And I would love to play that game. I would love to make a game like that because it's quite interesting to make a story-based game because it's like writing, but also at the same time the players is writing their own story on that story-based game. Whatever choices they make, it is their own choice and not influenced by other games or other players if they play it. And the company that worked on that, I think it's Square Enix. I would love to work with them, but I also heard that they're not very good with their employees, so I really don't think that would work out.
As I need to go with the game or the company that I like to work with, this could be a long time to see whoever the job they play with. If I would like to work on, I could be part of the Nintendo. Sincerely, Nintendo for me is a selling for fun. Back then, selling Nintendo Wii and those fun games for the whole family. Where people just play kind of nostalgia vibes back then in the 80s, like the NES, or the 90s in the Super NES. But for a lot of people to know, I definitely go with Nintendo. It could be for the places that are very for fun, like in Super Mario, Donkey Kong, or it's something people like that. For favorite franchises, I do like to see them in the background action. When they got the new games in the future, people think this could be exciting for the new games, whatever it goes to here in the future. Oh, and a lot of the backups and new consoles too. There's a lot of games that I do want to play again. Sometimes I do like to see racing games I do like the most. And also for those played in years, I'm not sure for me to myself. But I do like racing games and racing a lot. For those remake games, people think it's a lot ahead of the remake, going back on nostalgia and base it in here in the modern day. People are sort of likely heard of mobility games, but for me, I do like to see they play again. I wonder why. I played this like it for a long time in the city, like the mobile games, the console games back then. But I do like to see it back then to the present day. Wonder why? I think I got a lot of attention to see everybody want to play it again for numerous years.
Why do you play games? Well, the reason why I play games is just to escape reality, because I'm an artist and my imaginations goes wild, like really wild. So playing games is like my output of my imaginations, because for example in Sims you can create your own characters there, your own Sims, and you can base them on whatever or whoever you want to base them on. It could be you, your family, anybody really. So with Sims, I would base my OCs or original characters there. I would make them there. And I would do whatever I want with them there. Playing games is my de-stressor actually. It makes me forget my problems and whatever struggles I'm facing. Though temporarily, it does make me happy when I'm feeling grumpy, which Sometimes I'm always grumpy, so video games are a very good outlet for me. Especially when I'm feeling angry, I can just play a video game that it's like shooting based games like Left 4 Dead or Call of Duty. I can let my frustrations and anger out of video game without harming myself or anybody. It's really video games is my escape essentially. It's also the main reason I bonded with my family because of games. Me and my father, my sister love playing games. Even though we have different preferences, it's a one way of being just be able to talk about games that we love, games that we're expecting this year that we would like to play, that sort of thing. Video games has changed my life, that's for sure.
When I was a kid back then, I do like to play games and hear it in a PC. Well, who knows? This is a weird way to start here with me and my brother, or something my little sibling used to do to play games a lot. Or serving back then in the PC. But as for today, I do like to see play the ones who could be in the console. Back in SMB by PS3, or people who think had a little bit of it the PC for the gaming emulators like Project 64 or Project Dolphin for the GameCube. But for today, I do like to play games because I could be a little bit fun and exciting. In case I would get bored, rather to say, I do study first before hanging out and play games with my friends. But for today, I do like to play games because a lot of people will join this and invited friends, the more chances I need to play with.
If you were to be transported in a game, what game would that be and why? I actually thought of this question a lot, like what kind of game would I love to be in? Like transported in, like be able to like be in that game's universe. I thought of a lot of video games, like Fallout universe, but then I thought that I would not survive a post-apocalyptic world. I can barely survive in the real life. How am I be able to survive there? So I thought and suddenly I realized I would love to be transported in Stardew Valley. Yeah, I would love to transport there because I love plants. I love taking care of plants and like be able to be partners with the bachelors there because Stardew Valley, you are known there to have a partner there, be able to get a partner with multiple bachelors and bachelorettes there in the game. You can pick like a character you would love or you would want to be your partner. Like I would just love to just farm forever and ever in whatever seasons it is. It's a very good game. It's a relaxing game actually. That's why I would love to play there. And also if I get bored of playing farming, I could just go to the caves there because Stardew Valley has a combat system too where you can go to caves and there and fight like monsters or monsters there and get their loot, money and stuff like that. I would love to play that. It's a very good video game that I would love to be transported to.
Those games are a lot of the transporting for the different video games. If I were transported into a video game, it could be something with an action game but about smashing all those battlefield characters on screen to like 4 to 8 players. Either 2, 4, or up to 8 players in the game. Or rather, I could be going in a racing game. When I was a kid, I do enjoy racing games a lot. What a fighting game. And guess we had to compete those other fighters that across for many franchises. Whatever the year is, I could be like to see them in action. but I could try it on. If I could transport in there, this would be excited to test it out on myself. Well, in a game, particularly.
Who is your favorite character? With a lot of games that I played in the years that I have been playing games, my most favorite character is Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 2, 4, and the future Resident Evils. He is like one of the lead male characters in the Resident Evil universe. I love his character because he's like a brave soldier or agent in the video game there. And ever since I saw him, I was like, wow, that is one good character. And the characteristics are good. The model, the design of him was good too. I first was introduced to this character when my dad was playing Resident Evil 4 at the time, so that was when I got introduced. So it was kind of like a reminiscent character for me from childhood, so whenever I see that character on the screen or like trailers and stuff, I'm always excited to learn or to know about him in the game. What is he up to there? What his goal? Like things like that. Yeah, so he's my favorite character.
There's a lot of favorite characters back then since I was playing Smash Brothers. But for those formidable mascots in each franchises. Okay, so I barely pick one of those ones, but I do say a lot. Okay, first up, Mario. Who knows? The favorite mascot here in Nintendo ever since the 80s. But I do like to say people who love this mascot is considered that he was famous. One of most people that doesn't like Mario is a Piscina back then in 81. With Donkey Kong on it, and incidentally Sonic in the vicinity in the 90s. Back then, those ones Mario and Sonic competed in 2007 in the Olympic Games in the game days. But I do like to see back in action to those ones. Whatever those two are, it would definitely go out with a collab showdown. Also back in the 90s, the console was begun and ended here in the end of the 90s.
Would you consider yourself as a gamer? Well, I think I would consider myself because ever since I was a kid, I've been playing games for as long as I can remember. The games that Game Boys, the PS2, the PSP. I've had those when I was young. And now that I also have the Xbox 360 and also PC, so I'll be able to play PC games and many of the console games that turn PC games. So yes, I would consider myself as a gamer. I mean, I have a game in PC where I spend like 300 plus hours. I think it's almost 400 plus hours playing that game. Because it was so fun. I think it's the Fallout 4. Yeah, I think it's the Fallout 4 game. I think that's the one that I spent 400 hours in. It's my favorite game, so yeah. I would consider myself a gamer, especially since I've been playing games since I was very young, like probably 6 years old and stuff. And yeah, I'm a gamer.
People those days who wanted to be considered as a gamer. All the people in the 80s always played gamer back then in their arcade games. 90s in the consoles, multiplayer games in the year the 2010, 2000s to the 20 to the present. I say, but for me I consider myself a gamer. I could be, If I could have enough time when I finishing studying, when I finishing school, I could believe and consider myself as a gamer. As long as I got my friends with me. Whenever I gotta need to try it out on myself, then I could always be to do, I like to say, what everyone needs to support in me. For the fans, and most importantly, the many people who don't remember me. Well, I do consider myself as a gamer. As long as I make everyone smiles in their faces, as long as I do it in my dreams.
And we have reached the end of our podcast. Thank you so much to listening us rambling about our childhood and our favorite games. My name is Gabriel Bosantonio and my partner, Iro Cabito. Thank you so much again. Bye!